"What the hell are you doing?" That's what came out of my mouth the second I saw her. Brenda Hutchinson's daughter, Kay, laughing her head off as she chained up my four-wheeler and hooked it to her boyfriend's junkyard trailer right in the middle of my own driveway, like she'd just inherited the place. The metallic snap of the chain sounded like a slap. Sarah's last gift to me, my late wife's anniversary present being stolen in broad daylight, and all Kay could do was toss her hair and say, "My mom runs this neighborhood. I'm untouchable." You ever had a moment where you're so mad your hands just shake? That was me standing there watching the last real thing I had left of Sarah get hauled away, thinking, you just picked a fight you can't even imagine. And let me tell you, when you steal from the wrong person, sometimes you end up with 37 federal agents on your doorstep and your whole empire burning to the ground. So here's the battle line, right? What would you do if the local HOA, Karen's kid, ripped you off and laughed about it, bragging she was untouchable? Drop your plan in the comments and tell me where you're watching from, because I promise. Kay thought she was playing checkers, but I was about to flip the board. Name's Marcus Webb. 3 years ago, I was just a regular electrician trying to keep it together after cancer took my wife Sarah. We'd moved to Pinewood Estates because she'd fallen for the big backyards and that promise of friendly Texas neighbors. Even now, every evening I can smell cedar shavings and machine oil in my garage, just me tinkering with old radios or building birdhouses, keeping my hands busy so my mind didn't drift back to that empty spot at the kitchen table. But the real treasure wasn't the house or even the garden. No, it was the 2019 Polaris ATV sitting in my driveway, the one Sarah bought me for our 25th anniversary just 2 months before her diagnosis. I still remember her squeezing the keys into my hand, her voice just above a whisper, "Promise me you'll keep living even when I'm gone." That machine was my last link to her, our trail rides, the mud, the freedom. It was the one thing I refused to let this neighborhood chew up or take away. At first, Pinewood Estates seemed perfect, 47 homes, $180 a month in HOA dues, nothing too crazy. Then Brenda happened. Brenda, with her perfect manicure and her Michael Kors purse swinging like a weapon, was the HOA president 3 years running, and not because anybody liked her. She'd bullied and fined every decent neighbor out of the way. Her husband Rick, never around, always on business for his so-called pharmaceutical company, left her free to rule the block. Her brother-in-law's landscaping crews charged $800 a month for work, worth half that, and Brenda fined the Johnsons $150 for the wrong shade of green on their mailbox. Kay, her daughter, was 19, a dropout who thought our streets were her own racetrack, burning rubber in cars she didn't pay for, with boyfriends who looked like they belonged on America's Most Wanted. I kept my head down until the day I walked outside and found a $200 citation taped to my front door, unauthorized recreational vehicle storage. My ATV parked right where it had always been. I showed up at the next HOA meeting standing in that suffocating little room with 15 neighbors who all looked like they'd just gotten called to the principal's office. "Your recreational vehicle violates our evolving community standards," Brenda announced, dead-eyed smile plastered on her face. I held up my paperwork. No rule against ATVs, not a single word. The room went stone quiet. "Rules evolve, Mr. Webb," she shot back, eyes cold as a snake. "If you can't keep up, maybe this isn't the neighborhood for you." That was it for me. Sitting under that flickering light, watching the fear in Harold Chin's face, the old accountant 2 streets over, scribbling notes while Rita Gonzalez, the ex-treasurer, shook her head, I decided I wasn't giving an inch. And neither was my ATV. Fast forward 2 weeks. I'm pulling back into my driveway from Home Depot, bags of screws and plywood sliding in my truck bed, when I spot Kay in broad daylight chaining up my ATV to her boyfriend's rusted-out pickup. I slammed on the brakes so hard my coffee launched across the dash. "What the hell are you doing?" She looked up and just grinned. "Relax, old man. Mom says it's gotta go. You can call the cops if you want. Officer Davidson's already cool with it." I tried. 45 minutes I waited for Davidson to show my four-wheeler halfway down the block, while neighbors peered through their curtains, probably live tweeting the show. Davidson finally rolls up slow as Molasses notepad out trying to look official. She says you let her borrow it. He shrugs. No proof of ownership, no witnesses. Right on cue, Brenda shows up in her white Mercedes, smelling like vanilla and bad intentions, tennis skirt crisp as a banknote. "Thank you for coming, Officer Davidson," she purrs, folder in hand. "Here's the new covenant amendment filed just last week." Of course, I'd never seen it, never got the email, but Davidson nods like he's just read the law. "Maybe you two can work something out." After he leaves, Brenda leans in. 72 hours, Mr. Webb. "Remove the vehicle or next time it's not a warning." She pointed to a crack in my sidewalk. "That's the property line. Past that HOA land." Well, Brenda didn't know I used to rewire entire office buildings. When circuits don't add up, you follow the wires. That night I drove to the county courthouse, combed through public records. Turns out Brenda's amendment wasn't even filed. Texas law says 30 days notice and a homeowner vote for any change. She'd done neither. And guess who was billing the HOA for landscaping? Not her brother-in-law Rick himself, running everything through a fake company. Next morning I rolled my ATV right back onto the driveway, filmed it and posted to the neighborhood Facebook group. Interesting how rules appear overnight without any vote. Support poured in, but in under an hour I got booted from the group, admin privileges revoked. Too late though, word was out. 3 days later a note appeared on my windshield. "Drop this or things get worse." The handwriting looked just like Brenda's. And buddy, she made good on that threat. Suddenly I was getting fines for excessive grass height. $150 grass was barely ankle high. Mailbox color, unauthorized signage, even excessive noise for running my table saw at 2 in the afternoon. Brenda's signature on everyone like she enjoyed autographing my misery. But that's where she slipped. She got greedy, too many fines too fast. Harold started dropping by, cup of green tea in hand, whispering, "You know these violations break city ordinances. Max fine for grass is $25, not $150. I started reading city codes like they were gospel. Texas law said every fine had to be fair, documented, and proportional. Brenda was just making them up. Then it got weird. Brenda started driving by 4-5 times a day in her Mercedes telephoto camera, snapping pics of my workshop like I was cooking meth in there instead of fixing lawnmowers. She started rewarding neighbors who supported her with reduced dues, a reverse protection racket. But she didn't buy everyone. One evening, Rita Gonzalez knocked, trembling manila envelope in hand. "I saved these before I quit," she whispered. "Inside photocopied invoices, fake maintenance charges, pool cleaning bills, triple the real cost, cash flowing to Rick's shell company." It was bigger than I thought. K spray-painted snitch on my garage. Security cameras caught everything. Finally, even Officer Davidson couldn't look the other way. But when Brenda arrived with her slick lawyer, they tried to claim digital manipulation. Nothing happened, just a warning for Kay. So I doubled down. Rita, Harold, and I met in secret kitchen tables stacked with old invoices, receipts, and spreadsheet printouts. Harold, the real MVP, traced every dollar, matching Rick's business trips to spikes in HOA spending. "This isn't petty corruption," he whispered, "it's money laundering. The HOA's a front for Rick's cartel connections in Mexico." That's when things got dangerous. Security trucks started idling outside my house, no company name, just a big guy with dead eyes and fake badges staring at my front door. Rita's financials, Harold's detective work, my video evidence, all together enough for the DEA to finally care. Especially after Kay's boyfriend got picked up with $14,000 cash and enough fentanyl to knock out a football team he flipped, told everything. Rick wasn't a traveling exec. He was using Pinewood Estates HOA to wash cartel money through fake contracts. Federal agents set up shop in my kitchen, laptops everywhere, motion sensors on the doors, coffee brewing like a crime drama. Agent Rodriguez made it clear this was RICO level. We spent 72 hours pulling records, tracing transfers, catching Brenda on the phone with Elfe, a cartel go-between planning solutions for their problem neighbor. That's me, by the way. The day of the community barbecue, every neighbor showed up, news cameras, city council, the whole circus. Brenda floated in summer dress, smile glued on Kay right behind, still acting like a TikTok queen. Right in the middle of Harold's community update, federal agents swarmed in badges everywhere, handcuffs flashing in the sun. Brenda and Kay's faces went from, "We own this place," to, "Oh crap, faster than you can say subpoena." Rodriguez read them. Their rights. Brenda shrieked about her rights and political persecution, but nobody listened. Her husband had been caught trying to fly out of Austin with $200,000 in fake passports. As Brenda and Kay were cuffed, the whole crowd realized every bogus fine, every extra dollar they'd all been funding a drug cartel's money laundering. And I just stood there thinking, Sarah, you would have loved this. In the end, Rick got 15 years. Brenda 8, Kay 3, and Jake the boyfriend 12. Though he turned on half the cartel for a lighter deal. The Fed seized $3,000 and $12,000 and dropped our HOA dues to $95 a month. Harold's now treasurer, Rita's president, and the old Hutchinson lot is a community garden named after Sarah tomatoes, not secrets growing where Brenda's empire used to stand. Every Saturday we riot out on that old ATV. Laughter replaced Brenda's threats. People talk to each other. And me, I keep every letter, every note, every receipt, because I know bullies only win when you stay silent. Funny how one stolen four-wheeler can bring down a criminal empire, huh? Now, if you've got your own HOA nightmare or maybe a hunch about your neighborhood's missing money, drop your story in the comments. Maybe the next empire to fall will be in your backyard. Smash that subscribe. And remember, real justice starts when regular folks stop looking the other way. You know what I mean?